Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Specter Cross Kamen Blades and Kamen Ghost Rebirth Kamen Specter DX Specter Gekikou Senki Wonderite Book plus Kanon Specter and Yujou Burst Ghost Eyecon. So yeah, this is the first of Bandai's initiative of, hey, we have some things that we never bothered releasing, so let's just release them now. So this was, again, the first of these items, the second being the Nadeshiko driver, the third and fourth ones being two we already covered, the Overcourser Ride Watch sets and Progress Key Set 03, that one being the oddest, and then the Mighty Novel X and Bang Bang Tank Progress Gashat set. And then lastly, we have the Full Bottle Final set, which that one is weird. But yeah, so obviously this is in commemoration of the Blades Cross Specter, the Specter Cross Blades special, where Blades actually obtained a Specter Wonder Ride book to coincide with the Ghost Wonder Ride book. And as I said right here, this actually does credit the Specter V Cinema, because on the back we get two icons. So we get the Kanon Specter Ghost Eyecon along with Yujou Burst, which is pretty neat. It had nothing to do with the original, with the crossover, but you know, the top shows all three devices. The right doesn't have anything. The left has all the new forms. And then contents. So just basically saying it includes 5 LR44s. I really do like that the back is a traditional Ghost box alongside a Saber box. I think it's a nice blend. So here are the contents out of the box. We will actually take a look at the Wonder Ride book first, because that's why we're covering this here, and not when we did Ghost. Yeah. So obviously it's a DX Wonder Ride book. I forgot to mention this with Ichigo. With those two, they've changed the tabs back into the original pull tabs, because obviously with the Legend Rider ones, they actually truncated the pull tab, or the section you pull it. And now it's just the normal size. I just wanted to bring that up. I really like the shade of blue. It's Specter blue, which I like, the light blue, which is really neat. Obviously, we get Specter Gekikou Senki. It's basically the same outline of the Ghost one, just with Specter themed. Although, I don't know who this is supposed to be, because it looks like Grin. But obviously we got Kamen, Nobunaga, and Deep Specter. No love for Houdini. And this one's odd. So obviously because it's Blades Wonder Ride book, and obviously Specter has nothing to do with animals. In order for them to justify this being in the animal slot, they just threw in the lion from Lion Senki. So I guess this is technically part of the Lion Senki series. This is some weird offshoot, I guess. The story, or the story page, which is basically the same, the wonder text. I really do like the purple here. Specter Rider symbol, QR code for Gamba Rising. The phrases here are actually interesting, because when we actually look at the transformation page, it's Deep Specter. So, which obviously I'm gonna love that, because I really like Deep Specter. But it's definitely interesting. It's kind of obvious because Gekikou, obviously. So we have the Deep Slasher and the Deep Specter Ghost Eyecon here, to which I feel like this is kind of one of the worst edited item pictures they've done, because it's just a product image. They didn't really bother trying to blend it in. But yeah, I absolutely like this, and this makes a lot more sense. Like, this is technically the second Legend Rider book to actually have to comprise of a power-up, like an upgrade form, because the first one had to be the Decade Sekai Rokoki Neo. So book activation. And then the story announcement. This one's honestly probably one of my favorites. So obviously the story activation sound is from the end of Specter's transformation, like Specter Damashi. And then, this is one of the coolest with the story announcements because they mix the instrumentals of Specter and Deep Specter together. It's just amazing. I love it a lot. Especially, it's nice hearing the both instrumentals of those cleanly after the ride watches from being Gashapon ride watches and such. Anyways, let's actually look at this. It's February, and I recorded Ghost in September. So 5 months later, here we have a Ghost icon yet again. This one being Kanon Specter. So she finally became a Kamen Rider after being a Sentai member. So I really do like that they kept this consistent. KS, Kanon Specter. Really do like the pearlescent white with the glitter. It's similar to Sanzo, but I think it's a lot more clear. The QR code for Gomber Rising, I don't think this worked with Boot Whistle. 92. The pink iris, and then the pins. So the 4 panels, again, the iris, the numbering, transformation, and the Omega Drive. I don't think the hearts were necessary, but I get where they're going with that and such. And then obviously we have to compare with a review that is yet to be out because I have to hold it back. The Kishidan Ghost Icon. Why? I don't know. But next up we have the desired Ghost Icon that they for some reason didn't bother just doing, but I mean, here it is, the Yujou Burst Ghost Icon, which as you can see from here is a simple retooling or recolor of the Yujou Burst Ghost Icon. The Tokon Boost Ghost Icon, to which we can compare them right here. Which I do really like this in gold. Just the fact this is all, like, I really do like how just simply not having it transparent really makes a difference. Also, you can see from, like, here that the QR codes are clearly different from how they did it back in 2016 to, like, 2021, yeah. And, to actually bring this up, the pins are actually different because of reasons. So, actually, again, here's the top label. I think this is the kanji for Yujou Burst. And you can see, like, this is definitely a nice pattern and all, but you can see from Tokon Boost, you can definitely see the lamination is actually no longer present. So this is technically a new type of label. And, like, I just really like the paint on this and such. Anyways, when we pull the pull tab out, we have the we have the sound of the Necrom Ghost Icon transforming into the Yujou Burst Ghost Icon. And I'll only do one sound out of here just because of how this works. So we will only do the activation, because everything else will just sequence for the Mega Loader and such. So let's take a look at this fun batch, or this fun bunch So we would do the Wonder Ride book first, just because it's the only singular item. Speaking of that, I forgot to compare the two. Obviously, there's not really much to compare, but you know, just the fact they actually did keep them consistent and such. I forgot they incorporated the Specter Ryder symbol into the P. And then the story pages, because this is basically just a bunch of Deep Spectre stuff. So Giza Giza Ghost, Gyotamuro, yep, Giga Gekko, and then yeah. Nope. Specter Gekikou Senki. Yeah, this, like, I can't blame them for this, because honestly, this is an example of something that wasn't planned from the beginning. So basically, the Spectre Wonder Ride book gets treated like a generic Wonder Ride book that has the animal sound and a blue LED, which I don't mind at all, because it's still technically a new Wonder Ride book. It just doesn't do the traditional Legend Rider sound. But I mean, I don't mind not getting that sound. We've heard it enough. We've heard it 22 times. And basically, just do some audio editing with the Blade book and the Spectre. You're fine. And the Wonder Attack, he actually did do this. Specter Gekikou Senki. And why I think it's cool. So, like, Rintaro literally slots the Seiken in, and then he just starts doing hand-to-hand combat. Oh my gosh. Obviously, it's just Kono Dobutsu, which is just a certain animal. And basically, this is the Hydro Omega Drive. Which is, yeah, that's when he presses this. Because he presses this back with the Nagare. Because this actually does grant him the Deep Swasher. Obviously, I appreciate it's at least blue. So, we might as well do the Kyomu. Transformation. That's what I meant. To show that it's not treated as Eternal Legend, it's literally just Eternal Wonder. Again, you can fix that through sound editing, audio editing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like some kind of term used for animal. The Kuriyami would have been the same for Ghost, so I don't mind it. there we have Jaku Animal. So that's basically it for the Saber stuff. So here we go with the... You actually want to focus the Mega Loader. This is obviously a weird angle because of how this works. So obviously to use this with the Mega Loader, you want to activate it. Then simply slot it into the Eyecon slot like so. And then you want to press the side button once again, to which the standby for this will start. And then you want to press this again to initiate the transformation. And there we get the transformation of Kanon Yujou Burst. And then for the finisher again, just press the side button again. And as you can see, the 3 LEDs flashing. Press it again to initiate the finisher. Again, I apologize heavily for the bad presentation and such. Obviously, this doesn't trigger anything within the Mega Loader. Like, everything here works smoothly fine. I love the... Because the, you know, the V-Cinex, or the V-Cinema knew, you know, I will say they were really smart and knew how the Mega Loader worked and such, because obviously they knew that if they used the dropper, that would technically just initiate the ghost sound. So I find it really cool how Yujou Burst, like the transformation process for this one is actually different, because it doesn't revolve you flipping it. It just revolves you pressing this twice, which is just really cool. And for some reason, like, yes, you can go through them, but then for some reason, the 6 press is just blank. I don't know the entire purpose of that, but... Oh well. Here we have the Ghost Driver with Kanon Specter. Yeah, so interestingly enough, they gave Kanon Specter the special pin set, which is actually pretty cool, because when I was skimming through the footage, I was expecting just the traditional Specter transformation sound because of Zero Specter, but then I heard Bachimina, I was like, oh shoot, this is, like, what is this? Or, like, what could this be? And it's like, this is a really nice way of canonizing the special sound into the show, or like, into the media, which is really neat. Obviously, we have the Omega drives. Then the Omega. Yeah. And then last but not least is using Yujou Burst in the Ghost Driver. We finally get another Eyecon with a standby and a more clear speaker. So obviously that's the same as the Mega Order. However, we actually do get a Yujou Kaigan, like a different Yujou announcement, which I had to assume they recorded that when they initially, like, in the same session as when Sin Specter was made. It's just that they held back on it for so long. So because I assume they did not get him back at all, just because, you know, this was already pre-established sound. What more do you need? However, if you couldn't tell, this one actually uses the same pin sets as Mugen and Sin Specter. So this is the first, like, this is technically the first icon to use this pin set that's not jutting out. But it also makes sense because Usual Burst is technically the only soul form of Necrom, despite the fact he does get a Mugen-esque form within the novel. But we're not going to be able to see that. Obviously, we have our standard finishers. Sadly, this doesn't have the flame. I really do like how Yujou Burst like really shines in here. And then last but not least, the Omenema. And a surprise twist, unlike the original Necron Ghost icon, it's just the standard Omenema sound, which is pretty neat. But yeah, overall, what I think about the set, pretty solid. This is, for being the first of this initiative of Bandai of, hey, let's get these things that we never made before. I'm going to be honest and just say this is probably the best one of the batch. Just because it's a nice variety of like gimmicks, and also it's just kind of nice that this is also one of the first that they actually mixed gimmicks, because I feel like this is actually kind of fun, especially because it's been a while since they've done this, because obviously the most infamous one being the Movie Tyson Full Throttle set for driving Gaim, because, you know, for most of the time, like with Heisei Generations, the XA Ghost icon was a campaign item, and the Kaigan Ghost Gashat was an exclusive to Old Ryder Revolution. So, like, it did kind of suck that we never really had, like, sets of, like, gimmicks from, like, different series. So it's really nice to see that again. And also, like, just the selection works. It does represent, like, all the core, like, you know, it does represent, like, these characters. Obviously, it's Spectre being represented by a Wonder Ride book. Then we got Kanon, and then Necrom with their icons and such. Again, it's just really nice for them that they actually did release this icon finally, because honestly, just the way that I assume that they never released it because they didn't know how to make it work, even though the way they did it is just how I would have imagined, or how I would have engineered it. Because I think before this set got released or got announced, I originally did want to do a video just talking about how they could have done the Yujou Burst Ghost icon, to which they exactly did what I wanted them to do. It does have the premiumness, obviously, because the finisher sound is basically how it was done in the V-Cinex, or the V-Cinema. Kanon Specter is pretty neat. I don't mind it being a reuse of the Kishidan special ghost icon. It's like both of these are still pretty relevant anyway, because they, you know, Ghost was one of the very few series to actually make all their forms useful. Like, it's not like, I don't know, like, if you were expecting Kanon Specter to reuse Gamba Rising, or to be the Eyecon to put out Gamba Rising, I don't know what you would be expecting, honestly. Like, I feel like most people would probably have been like, well, it should have its own sounds, but then it would have, you know, like, unless it was a Mugen-esque ghost icon, which wouldn't have made sense, but overall, like, a really nice set overall. Surprisingly, the weakest thing of this set is the Wonder Right book. But like, it's not even like anything wrong about it. I don't even mind the fact that it doesn't even do any Legend Rider sounds, because it's just, how? There's no generic Legend Rider sound they could have done, so it's just like they went with the next best option. Like, this is a really nice set overall. So like, I pre-ordered it off of Collectibles. This thing never got a US release. I think this thing, you can get it for about like $45, which I think it's pretty reasonable, because this is about 20, this is 10. So like, we got 35, and then these are about like $8, like $6. So like $41. Like, it works. Like, they like started this off so well. And I kind of wish that the layer sets were as good as this. But yeah, that'll do this review. So this is Ryder, and I'll leave people. Bye.